Welcome to Wrestling Over Everything, everybody. We are a very funny wrestling podcast out of the Central Valley of California. I'm Andrew, that's Dusty.
Hey. Andrew, do you think we're getting fully wacky waving, partial wacky waving?
It's been mostly partial lately, so I think we're probably getting we might get wacky. I don't think we're getting waving. That's my guess. Oh. Yeah, dude, flaccid, bro. There he is. There he is.
Yeah. You know what?
Your tube-man is wacky and waving for 4 hours. Call a doctor.
Yeah, he's not going to get, he's not a week-to-week player, but he'll give you a flash of who he was,
Why don't pirates take a bath before they walk the plank? Because they wash up on shore.
Wait. Okay. I got you. I was waiting for a R-based pun that never came. That one was a thinker for me a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean they wash up on shore, like when they get to the shore,
because they're dead from being from walking the plank.
or alive, but eventually you're either gonna hit shore, or you drown because they drown. Why are you gonna be clean when you drown?
Because the life of a pirate is nightmarish. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies are in no way something to strive for.
Life's a goddamn nightmare. Have you ever heard of getting keel hauled?
No.
They would just strap you to the front of the ship.
Oh.
When the ship would bounce and shit, and you just slowly drown from getting dropped, and then you had like barnacles cutting you, and it's awful.
I'm aware of the practice. I didn't know it had a name. Imagine that. I'm just yelling the names of all my friends because I think you'd want to pretend that maybe that guy's not out there, but the whole time I'm just gonna be like, Steve, you're doing this to me, Steve.
Remember, I bought you a birthday present.
You're killing me, Steve.
I would at least try to make them think that I'm hitting them with the pirate curse.
Yeah. Davy Jones. I'm gonna go talk to Davy Jones. I'm gonna move up the ladder in his organization.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be sweeping change made to the pirate lifestyle.
You better believe Davy Jones is gonna hear about this shit.
I'm taking it straight to HR, which I assume is an octopus that lives under the sea.
With half moon glasses.
Because they have a lot of tentacles. They can do a lot of tasks. At one time, they have so many arms. I don't know if you know that about. They're like, cut him loose.
It's just so annoying. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm actually not going under the water right now.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this for weeks. I knew you sons of bitches were going to do this to me. All right, sorry. Tell them where they can find us.
I hid the key to the safe.
I licked every single one of the pieces of bread that you have, just so you know. And I have scurvy terribly. It's good you're killing me. Yeah, the scurvy hurts almost as much as your betrayal.
I licked 7 of the 40 loaves of bread, and I'll tell you which ones immediately if you let me back up. Follow us on, this is a wrestling podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok and Blue Sky. We're also on Instagram and stuff, but I'm kind of just focusing on those other 3. So let's pump up the numbies on those. We just put out a video of Dusty's Mount Rushmore of T-shirt wrestlers, which was delightful.
And I feel strongly. About that.
It was a good list. I tried to get, because I knew it was going to suck, but it was so bad that I couldn't even use it. I tried to get AI to make a picture of the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
But the problem was it fucking wouldn't put the Road Dogg in the picture. Like, it was Mick Foley that is clearly Mick Foley.
Yeah.
It was Kevin Owens, like a perfect spitting image Kevin Owens, Raven, pristine. Who's this other guy? And then so I was like, that's not the Road Dogg. And they were like, ChatGPT was like, apologies, that seems to not be Road Dogg, aka Brian James. Would you like for me to regenerate this with the Road Dogg in it, or do you want to provide me with a picture of the Road Dogg and I'll put him in there? And I was like, okay, they clearly know who the Road Dogg is. I'm gonna just tell them to regenerate this thing. I'm waiting for an oil change at the they regenerate the picture, Same fucking guy. They think the Road Dogg is some other dude. I don't know what's going on, but ChatGPT
it's really
is just
fun.
always wrong.
Yeah, and in the midst of that, 8,000 trees died to make the not Mount Rushmore t-shirt wrestlers.
There were the trees in the back.
Yeah, right. They were the shitty trees. That's
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, follow us on all that stuff. We're putting out fun things, I think. And it'd be good to hear some feedback from people. Tell us it's not fun. I don't care. Just watch it.
I just want to pump up the numbies, so get on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Get on some numbies.
This is we watch one of Dusty's 101 matches to watch before you die episodes. We've also got a bio to give you. I've got a fun bio today.
I'm excited for where the bio could go, because now we've kind of opened it up to everything. So
yeah, it's multimedia. That's what I'm going to say. Our bio is multimedia today. So that's going to be fun. We've also got some news and notes. Super duper stoked about WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So just such a good promising thing for the future of sports and entertainment in the United States. So there's a lot of fun that we're going to do today, but we're going to start with that match. Dusty.
Yes.
What match did we watch?
Today we watched from Superbrawl 2, Flying Brian Pillman, by the way. Both of these guys,
appreciate that. He is
both of these guys get, what would it be? I guess an adjective to describe them. I guess flying's a verb, right? He's flying, Brian.
Is Jushin an adjective?
No, Thunder. He's Thunder Liger, dude. He's Jushin Thunder Liger.
I think the Thunder's like a nickname, right? You don't say that thing over there is Thunder. You know what I mean?
Unless it is Thunder.
Those are Thunder Pants.
They both have nicknames. Let's go with that.
I'll take nicknames. I'll take nicknames. Monikers.
We've got Flying Brian Pillman versus Jushin Thunder Liger from Superbrawl 2. One of your favorite named events, the Superbrawl.
Yeah, I'm into the Superbrawl. Okay, and forgive my ignorance on this. That's what this episode, this podcast should be called. Forgive my ignorance. Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
Japanese or Mexican?
He is Japanese.
Okay, because there's sometimes you see the guys that you would guess are Japanese and they're luchadors. So
that is correct.
I would have assumed that he was Japanese, but
yes. Yes, he is Kichi Yamada is his name. He was born in Yokohama, Japan, November 10th, 1964. Legendary professional wrestler. Began his career in 1984. He wrestled under his real name for the first 5 years of his career, and then he was given the gimmick of Jushin Liger based on an anime from Japan of the same name.
Damn it, I hate anime. That sucks.
But it was very smart.
We just got unsubscribed.
for New Japan, for New Japan Pro Wrestling, they were like, hey, this thing's popular. Why not make that character in that show, a pro wrestler that people can cheer for and a mask they can buy?
And that guy over there is dope and ugly. So why don't we?
Yeah, yeah. This guy's kind of meh. Let's put him under the anime mask, and he'll before he became Jushin Thunder Liger, he was a fine pro wrestler, but he was kind of stuck. And it was after he donned the moniker of Jushin Thunder Liger, he became like a gigantic star. He won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title 11 times during his career. In this match that we're watching, he has already been champion 4 times in Japan, as well as being the current WCW light heavyweight champion, which was a belt that they had brought back in 1991. That Brian Pillman was the inaugural champion, and then he lost that belt to Jushin Liger on Christmas night, 1991, the exact time that all wrestlers probably want to be working.
And losing your title, that sucks.
Yeah, yeah, that's a 2-part stinger.
Christmas this year.
Yeah. Well, that's a three-pronged issue, actually. One, we need you to work Christmas. Two, you got to drop the belt to Liger. Three, no bonuses. Expect a Jelly of the Month card for the next year.
Yeah.
4,
4, I talked to somebody about your future.
not looking bright.
Not
So,
looking bright. Get your effects in order. Get your affairs in order.
So this is like, there's not a huge storyline going into this match other than Pillman is one of the premier light heavyweights in WCW at the time, and Liger, to a lot of people, is the best light heavyweight in the world that happens to be in WCW for this short run, and so they put them together. And so I had first watched this match, I believe, as an 8-year-old, because I rented wrestling tapes from the video store, and this shit blew my mind. It was like the greatest match I may have ever seen up to that point, because I had only been watching WWF wrestling, and then I went to the video store and I saw there was another group of people that did wrestling that I was unaware of, and I was like, well, I got to get eyes on this. What better than the Superbrawl?
Yeah, it's like Super Bowl, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this card, I haven't seen the matches, but like, you've got DDP on a dark match, which you didn't see.
Yeah, we missed him versus Big Josh. 5 stars, I'm sure.
So sad I missed that.
Yeah.
We do stand for DDP on this show, though.
We do.
Don't you forget it. We got the stuff, Buff wrestling Terrence Taylor next. And I saw a picture. I saw like the beginning of that because of this thing.
Yeah.
God, just young fucking just whippersnapper Buff, man.
Just young Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Star written all over him.
And and he just used his full name like an asshole, and I just love Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, well, he was a babyface. It's weird that he's a babyface named Marcus Alexander Bagwell. What do you chant if he's to get him, like, to cheer for him whenever he's in peril? Marcus,
Mab.
Yeah.
And then you got Ron Simmons beating Cactus Jack. I mean,
right.
I never really loved watching Ron Simmons wrestle, but you got Cactus Jack. You know what I mean?
He's doing something. Our greatest T-shirted wrestler.
Now, the most star-studded, he is the GOAT T-shirted wrestler. The most star-studded match, Van Hammer and Z-Man versus Richard Morton and Vinny Vegas, you know.
I believe that this match is very well received, which sounds impossible, but apparently pretty good. They all had their working boots on that night.
Listen, I'm on board. Then you've got Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes versus Steve Austin and Larry Zbyszko, something I would be very interested in watching.
Pretty good, from my recollection. This is after Larry Zbyszko smashed Barry Windham's hand in the car.
Which was very funny.
Yes. Gave him the nickname The Crusher.
The Crusher. He crushed his hand.
Because he smashed his hand up.
And then you've got Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton versus the Steiner brothers. Are you kidding me?
What's a match that Andrew could concoct in his mind that he might not have been sure existed? That's all your guys, dude.
Potentially the sickest match in the history of wrestling.
Except 10 stars. I'm sorry. Already.
Except for it's WCW, so it definitely ended in disqualification.
It's WCW.
Sorry, my cat is.
It's WCW in 1992. Well, like, if you have the greatest wrestling match of all time and there's no one there to see it, could it have been the greatest wrestling match of all time?
I'm looking to see if there's Meltzer ratings. Do you hear my cat right now?
I do hear your cat. There are Meltzer ratings.
Because I just want to see. I want to see what the ratings for that particular match. I'm thinking
the Steiners. Go ahead and give me a guess.
It's gonna lose points for the DQ.
Yeah.
But it is 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
I don't like the face you're making right now. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna ride for my guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that they got 3.25 stars for that match.
So impressive because you called the disqualification, which of course it is WCW. Yeah. So that's maybe a given. That's the only disqualification finish on this show, however. And this match did in fact receive 3 1/4 stars.
Well, for the record, I saw the disqualification on the thing. I wasn't calling
Right.
it, for the record.
Oh, okay.
But I did not see the star rating, so I'll give myself that. See, I know my guys.
I'm seeing here that Richard Morton and the Z-Man, Richard Morton and Vanny Vegas versus the Z-Man and Van Hammer was given negative half a star. Impossible.
This is just, you liked that match when you
No,
were watching this.
I literally read a review of it that was like pretty good. From
written by author the Z-Man.
Yeah, it was in the Z Diaries by the Z-Man. Wyndham and Dustin Rhodes versus Zbyszko and Steve Austin got 3 3/4 stars. Not bad. Okay, so I know we got to talk about this match, but we got to talk about, so Rick Rude defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on this card in the co-main event. Or not co-main event.
Also 20 minutes. And
yes.
he went out and talked about the Milwaukee Sweat Hogs, which I'm sure was hilarious.
Yes.
There's a lot of Sweat Hogs in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Sweat Hog Central.
In the build-up to this match, it was determined that the Dangerous Alliance was not allowed at ringside, and Ricky Steamboat had employed the use of a ninja as his guy, like as his second to protect the ringside area from any outside interference. Just a guy in a complete black suit, black mask, looks like a ninja.
This was peak ninja time, bro.
This is big time ninja time. Earlier in the show, Missy Hyatt tries to get an interview with Ricky Steamboat, but the ninja is outside of the door, won't allow Missy Hyatt access to Steamboat. He's a top level athlete. He's got to get in the right headspace.
Ninjas don't do media. They don't take they don't take kindly to media. They don't entertain media.
The U.S. title is what he's trying to win here. Turns out somehow the old switcheroo, Paulie Dangerously, is in the ninja suit. And he fucking smashes the phone on Ricky Steamboat's head, and everybody's like, the ninja turned on Steamboat. What are you talking about? And then he takes the mask, then he takes the ninja mask off. It's Paulie.
God damn it, you dangerously asshole. I hate him.
Hilarious. And then the main event,
the ninja's doing the Paulie walk.
Yeah, well, this is thinner Heyman, you know, when he was a more spry young man. Before he fought against that giant marlin in the boat for days on end.
Back when he was Filleman.
Look at that. And then the main event, Sting defeated Lex Luger for the WCW title. That match is the one that gets the most hate in the reviews of this show that I watch, where everybody's like, pretty good card by WCW. There's a lot of guys on this. Main event, Stinktown.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Did a Stinktown see you at Stinktown when the Simpsons leave?
Yep.
Springtown?
Well, I'm gonna miss that town. Why? They all hated you. Yeah, that's right. So long, Stinktown.
How long had Luger had the title for a little bit then, or was this another 3 days?
No, he had the belt. He had turned heel. He had won the belt at Great American Bash 91, where in the main event where he's winning the world title, they're chanting, "We want Flair," because Flair had just left WCW. And this is a shadow.
Assholes.
Yeah, he can't get anything, dude. And this was a shadow title change because Flair never lost the belt in the real order. So it's Luger versus Barry Windham for the title, and Luger wins. So Luger had been the champion since the previous July, but he's on his way to the WWF. So he's like, again, so long, Stinktown. I'm on my way to the big show. And so he drops the belt.
I'll never be back.
I'll never return. Wearing a puffy shirt.
And
I will.
Homer was never going back to Stinktown either.
Two things you need to know about me. One, never going back to WCW. Two, you'll never find me in a puffy shirt. Lex Luger, 1992.
3, I'll always be strong.
Oh.
Shout out to Lex Luger. We love you.
Shout out to Luger.
Yeah.
All right, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about the last match of the show. We're talking about the first match of the show. Andrew, is this your first encounter with Jushin Thunder Liger? I don't recall.
No, I don't remember what my first one was, but I've definitely watched Jushin Thunder Liger wrestle before.
Okay, I think he wrestled on a couple of NXT shows during the time that we might have been watching that.
Was he ever in WCW in 1997?
No, he was on the first Nitro that we watched one time, though, where he wrestled Brian Pillman, actually. So
okay, well, I know for sure I've seen him. So
yeah,
and I think I saw him like this era rather than like later
on. Pillman's 29 here. Liger is 28.
Man, I was younger for Pillman.
And this is a spectacular match. I don't know. I since you've watched it today for the first time, what were your initial thoughts?
My biggest takeaway from this was that they did a really good job of, because this was especially for 1992. This was like a high flying match. You know, Jesse Ventura was like, "Oh my God, we never see this in the Baja." You know,
yeah.
So like, they did a really good job of making the pacing feel natural while also doing some unnatural like high fly shit. Like,
yeah.
And it felt like it was a lot of therefores rather than and thens, if that makes sense. Like, you know, when people are talking about writing screenplays, it has to be this happens, therefore this happens, therefore this happens.
Right.
Rather than this happens and then this happens and then this happens. That's kind of how this was. It was like, it wasn't all like that. It doesn't have to be all like that, but it was very much like a cohesive straight line through with good pacing, and everything made sense and momentum made sense. And a lot of the moves looked really good. A lot of them looked really like kind of naturally, like in terms of physics and stuff. Like, I just think it looked like a more believable match than what we associate with quote unquote high flying wrestling even back then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it's actually kind of a good parallel to the Hechicero Bandito match we watched 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where my big complaints in that match were there seemed to be a lot of stalling and kind of waiting around. And it's like, this is sort of the forefather of that style of match, but this seemed more like wrestling. Like one of the big things that jumped out to me early is they're doing a lot of cool mat wrestling at first. And the commentators are talking about how Pillman had sort of told them, well, I lost to him on Christmas using my strategy, so I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to try to mat wrestle this guy and sort of like rope-a-dope him in that kind of way, you know. And so a lot of the early match here is like some cool reversals and like not really a lot of high flying, but then Pillman goes to throw Liger into the turnbuckles and he just walks up the ropes and does a moonsault off the top rope too, like a standing Brian Pillman. But Pillman wasn't standing there forever waiting for him to do something. It seemed more like, yes, he's still waiting to catch this guy, but it seemed more believable that Liger just kind of pulled this out of his hat and caught Pillman off guard, as opposed to like Pillman's down and he has to get up and he has to wander around while this guy's balancing and then jumps on him.
Yeah, and he's not, when he catches him, he's not very clearly catching him. Like, right. And they didn't do that as much, like the very clearly catching somebody in the Ring of Honor match, but like you see it a lot, and like it did seem organic. Like he slowly gets up, and as soon as he's up, he gets hit. Like there was a lot of that stuff, and I don't know if it's. I mean, obviously it takes two people to tango, but I don't know if that's like Liger is just so good, because I'm guessing Liger is the more seasoned. Like, I'm guaranteed Liger has probably, and this is just a guess, but this is something that I'd be surprised if it wasn't true. Liger's probably had 5 times the number of matches that Brian Pillman has had in his career at this point, right? Because Pillman like came from other things. So like, would that be fair to say?
Yeah, and I think training wise and also style wise, like this is way more Liger's style than Pillman. Like Pillman's a really good aerial wrestler for WCW at the time, but it's not the same as like there's not a whole division based on this. And like Liger's a guy who invented things. Like Liger's invented the shooting star press, and he's like an innovator of this particular style. So I really liked that Liger goes to work the knee at a certain point in this match, and they're working again. They're doing a lot of mat wrestling to sort of, I guess, like curtail your expectation, and then to build to the kind of crazy ending of this match, because the end goes insane. But there's a good part where Liger's working the knee, and then he figure 4 leg locks Pillman, and I just thought like, well, Flair's out of the company, so now the figure 4 is open for business. Anybody can do a figure 4 now.
Did they suppress the figure 4 throughout the company when Flair was there?
I think it's just a thing where you don't want to do a guy's move a bunch, and especially the top guy, like, because if you don't beat a guy with the figure 4, I guess technique, you would say maybe Flair has better technique at it, but like nobody else does the sharpshooter,
Yeah.
Like that's one guy's thing. But then of course they do one of my favorite spots where Pillman reverses it, and now through the magic of wrestling, the figure 4 leg lock hurts Jushin Thunder Liger. Yeah. He reversed the poles. Like the pole.
It's a polarity thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't change where their legs are at all.
No, it's just,
now the other guy's screaming.
Yeah, and as a kid, I was like, well, this makes perfect sense. He flipped 100%. It. Why wouldn't it hurt the other guy now?
If something's upside down.
Yeah. If I were right side up, I'd feel great. If they flipped me upside down, I'd feel bad. So, one of the funny things in this is like it's still WCW, and so there's just always going to be gaffes. Like there's a part where they're doing the match, and they cut to a wide shot of the crowd that's only 5,000 people, so it's not like a crazy impressive number of people to see on camera. But Pillman hits a gnarly looking suplex, like a side like a side back suplex on Liger that the camera barely catches because they're on the crowd and in the middle of what is an action part of this match. It's like WWF would never. They go to the crowd when the chin lock is on. That's when you go to the crowd shot.
Yeah, but I like the fuck ups. I like the rawness where it's like we have no idea that something cool's about to happen because this is real. Goddamn, you know what I mean? That's good. And WWF's like wide shots of the crowd suck now because it's not a bunch of hillbillies going woo woo woo. It's just a bunch of people who paid $1,000 to be there.
Who are really hoping that they can financially recover from paying $1,000 to go to SummerSlam.
It's a bunch of anyway. Never mind. I was about to say something disparaging.
They finally ramp it up. So like Pillman gets sent to the floor. Liger hits a senton, like a front flip senton off the top rope to the floor, which again, when I was a kid, I remember that spot specifically as something that I had not seen. And it's like, that's not even that crazy of a move. But for 1992, and Jesse Ventura's like, that's the greatest aerial move in the history of wrestling.
Well, yeah, he said this is the best aerial match I've ever seen in my career.
These guys clearly have great chemistry.
And I was a frog man. We jumped out of planes.
And yet, the athleticism I see here tonight, Jim Ross, it eclipses anything that the United States Armed Forces have ever done. And you can quote me, Jesse the Body Ventura, tonight.
The heroicism, the throwing caution to the wind, the willingness to inflict pain and agony.
on your enemy as though this were literal warfare, Ross.
From the sky up above, J.R. Ross.
This is also Jesse Ventura's first night in the company. I don't know if you saw his introduction.
Yeah.
He comes down on a Harley.
Yep.
To the ring, and he's like,
rad, dude.
And he's like, if you were in Milwaukee and you come to the ring, you better come in a goddamn American-made Harley Davidson. And the crowd's like, fuck, Jesse for president.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
yeah, he knows
Yeah,
his
I know.
people.
I hope he sure is gonna be a governor near here someday.
I hope an American sniper. That's a term that I'm just now coining. Never disparages the great man I've seen ride a motorcycle on a ramp tonight.
Oh, you better believe if he does, I will come at him with all the ferocity of a frogman.
I will get the United States government immediately to tell him not to disparage me, Jesse the Body Ventura.
I don't like Jesse Ventura. Chris Kyle deserved that shit.
Yeah,
Not dying. He deserved being sued. For the
shouldn't
record.
lie.
For the record.
Yeah, shouldn't
For the
lie.
record.
They also do one of my favorite things where one of the wrestlers is on the top rope and he goes to jump, and then the other guy's in the ring and he jumps up and drop kicks him. I always thought that looked really cool.
Yeah.
That was a good like
It
counter.
was sick.
Liger busts out a power bomb, which is not a move that I saw lightweights doing at that time, but is really normal in Japan. So it's like Sid Vicious does a power bomb.
Yeah.
Jushin Liger does not do a power bomb.
What's his name? Pillman did a flying crucifix, which was pretty cool. Into like a roll up. He got on the running towards him, got on the side, grabbed his arm, flipped his legs up, grabbed his other arm, and did a roll up from there.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a running crucifix. He also did
running crucifix. Okay.
like a Hurricane Rana kind of that he then tried to flip into like a weird pinfall, and Jim Ross was like, modified a Frankensteiner there from Pillman.
Yeah.
Near the end.
He's got it. He's like, we that's our guys' thing.
Yeah.
It originated in WCW.
That's 100% our guy's thing. In fact, I think Scott Steiner might have a word with Pillman backstage since that's his finish. So
I never saw that when I was in the shit JR Ross.
Liger hits a superplex, which looked really good, and then he goes
the
to do
superplex was dope.
he goes to do a diving headbutt off the top, misses, and then Pillman like rolls him up with a cradle using his legs to flip him into like a back cradle, which looked pretty cool. And that is the win for Brian Pillman in 17 minutes. What did you think overall of this match?
I thought it was great. I thought it was. I'm not going to call it like it was ahead of its time, but it's not like these were a bunch of things. Like I know Jesse Ventura played it up and he should have, and it deserved that and all that stuff. But it's not like people had never seen a Hurricane Rana and like all that shit before. So like It was ahead of its time. I would say it was just really well executed. It was a fucking awesome, fun, cool match that I enjoyed pretty much every minute of. I mean, I'm a huge Brian Pillman fan for a lot of reasons. Like I think he was a fun guy to watch. He had a lot of charisma. His run in the WWE was really fun for the most part, in my opinion. Like I liked a lot of the shit he did with the Hart family and shit. But and he was a part of the Canadian Stampede, the best goddamn
wrestling show ever. Yeah.
But Liger is dope, obviously, and these guys seem to care about putting a good match together, and it wasn't a spot fest. So I'm into it. I loved it.
Yeah, even watching it now, I'm like, this holds up really well. There are crazier light heavyweight matches, obviously, but like in the United States for the time, this is one of the best you could see, really, because like WWF wasn't doing this kind of thing. And the thing that I will always give credit to WCW for and their fan base, regardless of how much we like to make fun of them from time to time, like they're into this shit. Like they give these guys a chance. If it's really good wrestling, regardless of whether or not these guys are stars, they're like, they got the crowd into this thing. And Pillman is over anyway, but like they gave them a great match and the crowd responded by being into the great match.
And that's the crazy thing about WCW, what it eventually became, is they had the crowd that you didn't need to have an evil dentist to get them going.
Right.
Like they didn't need a mentally challenged man with a giant 2x4
Right.
to think what they were watching was cool. Like,
yeah.
It was like they were down for like good old fashioned, good professional wrestling, and like, and then they were given to fucking Eric Bischoff, and so the eventually it was 5 years later. it became like the first half of the show was like classic, really good wrestling. Like that's when they had the cruiserweights and they had the the Eddie Guerreros and the Benoits and all those guys. And then it would just fall apart, and the last 4 matches would have 2 stars between them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, why didn't this last too long? We everybody's in the NWO now. Why doesn't
Yeah, but we could sell. Look, we put an NWO shirt on Horace Hogan. Doesn't that make you want more Horace Hogan?
But to their point, there's a reason that they gave Eric Bischoff the reins. Like, had they been making money like gangbusters before with this formula, had this been making a ton of money, then they wouldn't have done the Bischoff thing anyway. So, like, the people in the crowd were stoked for this.
Yeah.
But this completely negates my entire argument that I just made, because it's like they still only sold 5,000 tickets for this,
Right.
and it probably didn't do very well on pay-per-view. Dusty was the only person to rent it on VHS. And he did
Several
it 20
times, by the way. Yeah. I went back to the well for Superbrawl too.
Yeah, so like this had heat. It had heat in the building. People loved it, but obviously it wasn't enough to carry a company.
Yeah, which is a bummer. But you're right. I was about to make that point. Like, you've got an ardent group of people that are super into this. Unfortunately, that amount of people is 5,000.
Yeah.
But what would you guess Meltzer's rating for this match to be?
There's a Japanese man in this match.
That is true. Yeah, he has wrestled in the Tokyo Dome.
It's early in the card.
Yeah.
I think he liked to punish things early in the card a little bit sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This is before his giant, boner for Japanese wrestling really took hold. I'm sure it existed, but in terms of the craziness, he didn't give out a lot of. I don't think this is a 5-star match.
Okay.
I think he gave this 4.25.
This received 4 3/4 stars.
Oh, nice, cool.
Which is almost worse, because it's like, what could have improved? I think the small things here are the legwork doesn't really amount to much in the end. Like, Pillman starts no selling it once they get to the high flying portion of the match. And that's like a big part of the early part of this match. And it's early in the card. Like you said, there's not a huge storyline involved with this thing to really amp up the emotion. Like, they got the crowd, but there's not an overarching sort of story to sink your teeth into.
That's the thing I lean on. Like, it's hard for me, because that's such a big part of wrestling.
Right.
It's hard for me, if I were doing star ratings, it's hard for me to leave that out of things. Like, it's not that I never can. Like, I didn't know if Eddie and Ray at Halloween Havoc had a big storyline. I didn't particularly care. That's a 5-star match. But, there are ones, like this one, for example, like, I don't think I would give this one 5 stars. But if you asked me a wrestling reason why I wouldn't be able to give you a good reason. And I think the reason that I wouldn't is because I didn't feel as much in this match,
Yeah, and definitely, like, ultimately it all comes down to emotion, as we are seeing with AEW right now. And I don't want to get all the hate for this. Like, you can put on incredible quote unquote star rating wrestling matches, but if people don't care about the people doing the incredible star rating wrestling matches, your show, in the United States at least, will not grow, and people will not care about it as much, because you got to give them something to believe in, man.
Dude, listen, I would genuinely rather watch headlocks and normal face punching and body slams from 2 guys that I really believe hate each other, or that, there's a compelling story from, than literally, what's that thing Neville does?
Oh, the Black Arrow or the Red
The
Arrow.
Black Arrow,
Yeah.
the whatever arrow. I think it's Red Arrow. That thing is sick and it's fucking cool for people. Like I've got no problem with it. I'm not shitting on it. I'd
Yeah.
rather watch somebody get a boot to the face by somebody that I believe they don't like than him land a red arrow on somebody that I don't care about this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think this is still, and it's still an incredible match. I think it holds up really well. It's a fun time capsule. I bet it doesn't get 4 3/4 these days, but that's a really good star rating. And this was at the time, again, like I said, like a match that changed. It sort of changed my idea of what kind of wrestling you could do. Like it made me fans of both these guys and a fan of WCW. I was like, I got to go back to that video store, see if there's more stuff like this in those WCW tapes. Turns out, not really, but
this was Anderson.
This was a hidden gem, yeah, and the Steiner brothers who were fucking dope. So
yeah,
there
was a lot. I mean, we talked about this card, man. Like, if and not just because it would be like magical and I would accuse you of dark arts, but if you had a time machine and was like, hey, we're gonna go back to Superbrawl 2, and I looked at this card, I'd be like, hell yeah, I want to go watch these guys. Like, there's a lot of really cool shit on this card.
It's got a great professional wrestling match, and it's also got a grudge match between a guy who got his hand smashed in a car. Like that's the spectrum of wrestling. That's the beautiful art of pro wrestling. You have both. Why not have both, you know?
Yeah. And listen, you've got like just a cast of wrestling history here. You've got Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton as a tag team on this card. And like Sting versus Lex Luger, Harley Race comes out with Lex Luger. It's like, this is just like classic, the meeting of the eras wrestling, you know? And like, this is like territory wrestling going national is because a lot of these guys were just the guys back in the day. And then you've got the young bucks like freaking Bagwell and I want to call even Pillman a young buck, but apparently he's 29. He's about to start pulling retirement at this point.
And Kevin Nash in a negative half-star match. He's Vinny Vegas, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Idea that Vinny Vegas was Kevin Nash.
That's Kevin Nash in his pre-Diesel gimmick, he's kind of a lounge singer.
I love it.
Like a lounge lizard. And then Richard Morton is the prior Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. They turned him heel, named him Richard Morton, and he joined what was called the York Foundation. This is where WCW, they fucking lose it, man, because they've got the Steiners, and they've got Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson, and they've got Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes. Like they've got Pillman, they've got Sting, and then one of their gimmicks was the York Foundation, which was a heel stable of wrestlers that used to have kind of nicknamey names going by their proper name now that they're heels. Terry Taylor becomes Terrence Taylor. Ricky Morton becomes Richard Morton. And they are told by a computer what wrestling moves to do, because Terrence Taylor's gimmick was he was the computerized man of the 90s. Damn it, WCW.
That's so stupid.
Why'd you do that? and in his squash matches, the computer would be like, your opponent's going to throw a drop kick, and then he would move out of the way of the drop kick. Like it was predicting.
How did they do this? Like on
it was
stage?
Really terrible. He had you remember Marlena, Goldust's manager? Yeah. She was the manager for the York Foundation. That's how they met. And she would bring a laptop to the ring that had been, I guess, filled with wrestling potential combinations, and it would just tell you what would happen, and then these guys would go do it.
So was it like a ticker tape, or was it like
I know I believe it was on she's looking at the screen.
A ticker tape would be funny.
Yeah.
Just somebody's getting choked by the ticker tape. That's coming out of the computer.
And the computer's like, I told you. And, So for every good thing that they could do, there was that. There was the York Foundation. You know.
Well, there's Ricky Morton in 2015, by the way.
Ooh,
Look at that guy.
what a champ,
that
dude!
guy.
Look up Richard Morton. Let's see what that guy looks like. I believe the mullet remains while
of course
he's
it does.
while
It's freaking better.
It's attached to his head like Joe Dirt.
Oh my god, dude, this mullet! It truly is a Joe Dirt mullet.
Yeah,
like that is just a Joe Dirt mullet.
It's actually weaved into his head. They can't remove it. What a guy, dude.
God, I love Ricky Morton, bro.
Is a truly one of the best. Not in the York Foundation. Stinks in the York Foundation. But yeah, so that's our match of the week. I'd say definitely one to check out, worth seeking out, and of course on the 101
for sure.
Match list. So Andrew, you have a biography that I'm very excited to hear about.
I do have a biography, and the person I want to talk about, one thing that these biographies have kind of like opened my eyes to is like the guys who started certain types of gimmicks. Right. So we had Wild Bull Curry, who was like the wild man, you know.
Right.
We had
and gave Eugene Levy. You gave Eugene Levy his career.
Yeah, 100%. He was the inspiration for Schitt's Creek. But you did Gorgeous George, who was like the first kind of like, I'd say like maybe not the first, but the first prominent like vein heel. You know.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You did the first bear, obviously.
I did the wrestling bear. We've done a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
This is I just saw the name. Anyway, this is an innovator of, I'm just gonna call it the gay heel, Dusty.
Okay.
Basically the Goldust character.
The flamboyant heel.
Yeah, just playing off of everybody's homophobia, like being really limp-wristed and androgynous. And I'm talking today about exotic Adrian Street. Have you heard of that?
Okay. I have heard of exotic Adrian Street, yes.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I was going to tell you what I thought the gimmick was, but you're gonna tell me, so...
Okay, yeah. So, this story starts basically like all of the other stories.
Can I
hilarious.
Can I take a swing?
Go ahead.
Young, poor gentleman of no means, lives in a rough town post World War II. Either he's a runaway or he gets a start at the docks. And then he joins the circus into wrestling.
Adrian Street was born in 1940 in England and Wales. I mean, so we're talking post World War II.
We're in World War II when he's born, but he comes of age in post.
Yeah, he comes of age in World War II. His father and his family of coal miners.
That's that's close to the docks.
Oh no, 100. You nailed it. He didn't want to do the coal mining thing because nobody wants to do the coal mining thing.
Right.
His dad was a miner for 51 years. Which, are you ready for this? Usually only a miner for 17.
Boo.
You like that?
Boo. So he could vote for 51 consecutive years. He could vote.
So he began bodybuilding as a teenager, and in 1957, at age 16, he left home to begin his career in professional wrestling.
Oh, I forgot to say, left school to become a pro wrestler before he was old enough.
That's just what this fucking is. It's always like they just decide, all right, but mom and dad, I'm going to go be a famous wrestler. How many guys left home to go become wrestlers? and got murdered while hitchhiking or something.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because you always hear from old time wrestlers like, man, the business used to be really hard to break into. Like it was a fraternity, and it was like you didn't have a way in. There was no wrestling schools or whatever. And then it's like in all these stories that we're looking up, it's like he just decided he'd become a wrestler, and I'm like, well, it can't be that hard to get into if you just
Yeah.
decided that you're going to.
A lot of them are literally, he was really poor, decided to go be a wrestler, and in 4 months he was one of the most famous people on the planet. Like,
Yeah.
he was wrestling on the lawn at Buckingham Palace like a week later, you know?
Yeah.
So,
He lived in Buckingham Palace 2 weeks later.
yeah, it was crazy, man. He was trained by Chick Osmond and Mike Dimitri. And his first professional wrestling match was in 1957. He wrestled under the name Kid Tarzan Jonathan. And so later in his career, he was kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of like a flashy heel for a long time. And then he, at one point during a match, like he was getting yelled at because he was a heel. He was getting yelled at by one of the audience members, and he did like a gay thing. He did like an effeminate thing, and the crowd got so mad at him. So he just made it his career, man. And this guy would he would like beat a guy and then kiss him.
Yeah.
Or one of his big things is that he would kiss his opponents. And he also, his other thing he would beat guys, and when they were unconscious on the ground, he would put makeup on them.
Yeah.
So they'd be just like down, and the guy's putting mascara and eyeshadow and stuff on them. So very interesting character because one of the interesting things, because I've watched him wrestle a little bit. I watched a little bit of his wrestling, and I loved it. And the reason that I loved it is because Goldust had a little bit of this, because obviously Goldust is like this character. Like it was the androgyny and the effeminate nature and the never saying he was gay, but obviously very intentionally implying that he's gay, like that type of stuff.
Right.
And but one thing that this guy did, I think, and I could be like corrected just because I haven't seen Goldust as much as a lot of people have. I'm trying to find a really good picture of him, but he was vicious in the ring. Like he was like aggressive and fast and mean, and like he wrestled with like almost a rage when he really like got after it, that made it scarier, because it's a guy who's like, you know, obviously like taking the piss a little bit and like, you know, trying to make people uncomfortable. And he's obviously, this is like a persona that would have made people uncomfortable in those days, for better or worse, obviously. And but he was like the Joker mean, like, and so I think it's really cool. And so there's like there's a lot of like, there's stories of the story of, he wrestled Jimmy Savile. Do you know who Jimmy Savile is?
Oh, I am aware of who Jimmy Savile is. Yeah, but
so Jimmy Savile was a television presenter and I guess philanthropist in England at the time, who ended up being just a horrible pedophile. Like, and they didn't find out until after he was dead. Just a real bad guy. But Exotic Adrian found out that he was going to wrestle Jimmy Savile for like on some show, and he knew that Jimmy Savile used to like kind of, his reputation was that he loved like young people. Like I don't know if it was girls or whatever, but this was like when it was just taboo, because it wasn't like he was forcibly doing. And anyway, it's a very weird thing to talk about. But Exotic Adrian like shot on him and like was like roughed him up pretty bad, apparently, just because of that. And he's like, and later on when it came out like what Jimmy Savile did, he was like, well, I should have beat him up even worse. You know what I mean? He eventually came to the United States. He worked with a lot of people that we've heard of, like Bill Dundee and Rip Rogers and all these guys. He ended up getting into like wrestling school. He started a wrestling school, and he also started creating ring gear for people, like he and his wife, because he had a valet. He had one of the first wrestling like true valets too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't his wife his valet?
Yeah, her name was Linda.
Yeah, Linda.
Yeah, and so they started a company where they would make the ring gear for wrestlers. He made all of Dude Love's ring gear for his feud with Steve Austin.
I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Yeah. So he led this crazy life. So, you know, shout out to him. Came up with this persona. This probably wasn't an easy persona to have at that time. And he was willing to do it for the heat. And I like people who do shit for heat, you know?
Well, and I think you hit on a kind of the most interesting part of the gimmick was like that he would present this sort of effeminate front and wear this makeup and wear these outlandish, like when he had it dialed in, it was like he had all the makeup on. Andrew had some pictures up of Adrian Street in his like full gimmick, and you could see he's got these flamboyant clothes on, he's got this makeup on, and then when he gets you in the ring, it's like it's a tactic to get you to drop your defense, and then he just will kick the shit out of you. Like,
yeah, he's just a demon once you get into the ring with him, and
that's kind of like I believe he's the first guy to do it. But there's Adrian Adonis, adorable Adrian Adonis, was kind of the same deal in the early '80s for WWF, where he's like presenting as this like very effeminate man, and then he wrestles, and he's like this rough and tumble, like we'll just beat the dog shit out of you guy. And that's the interesting turn, and that's what doubles the heat, is because you couldn't in the crowd. It's like, man, I hate the way this guy looks, and then you watch that guy and you're like, oh, that guy would beat me up also. Like I couldn't fight Adrian Street, and the guys that I like keep getting beat up by him too.
Yeah, you're scared of you're and you shouldn't be, for the record, but you're scared of the gay,
right?
But you're also like you're terrified of the demon gay. Like, what's scarier than a gay is a demon gay, you know? And this, so if you look on the screen that we have right now on the YouTube, there's this English band called Black, because we're gonna get into music for a second after this.
Okay.
Exotic Adrian made some music, but this band that he wasn't in, they made this album cover that I think is really cool. The album is called England Made Me. And it's a picture of him, and that's the mine that his dad worked in.
Oh, that's sick.
And he's in his like glam outfit, standing outside with the miners behind him. Like, this is where I came from. This is what I became. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's his dad in the picture with him, but that's the mine that his dad worked at, which I think is pretty cool. It's a pretty sick album cover. Like, I don't know what type of music it is, but I would like buy that vinyl just to have it.
Yeah.
So now I want to show you some of his music, because some of this is hilarious. He has, I'm going to try to do this without playing long intros and like stuff like this. But he has a song, I think was his entrance music, called Imagine What I Could Do to You. And his band is called Adrian Street and the Pile Drivers, which is sick.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I always forget to share
audio, share the sound. Yeah.
Let me make sure I am sharing sound. So, check this out.
I can break a door down with one hand behind my back. I can crush a grizzly till its bones begin to crack. I eat a dozen T-bones for my early morning snack. So imagine what I could do to you. I can tear a telephone directory in two. Bending iron bars is something else that I can do. I always pick my teeth with the nearest billiard cue. So imagine what I could do to you.
Very much, it is the effeminate wrestler's version of I walked 27 miles of barbed wire. I got a cobra snake for a necktie.
I ate 12 T-bone steaks. Imagine what I could do to you. And it's kind of like, it kind of rules. Like, it's a little bit sort of like T-Rex or like Glam Bowie. Like, it's not bad.
Like Ringo had to have written that song. You know what I mean? Like that is so much a Ringo song.
He wrote Octopus's Garden, and he wrote that. Those are the Ringo
I can knock
songs.
a hole through a solid concrete wall. I can pull a tree out by its roots, and that's not all. Now you know about me. Now you know about me. You won't need a crystal ball to tell you just what I could do to you. It's fucking sick. So
and another aspect of it, is that he's got Linda, who's like this attractive woman as his valet. And it's like, so he's also like getting the ire of these men because he's got a hot chick with him and they don't have one, or presumably, or like they're mad because he can beat the shit out of you and he's got a hot woman with him. Like, it's perfect heel, perfect heel stuff.
And and it is, and the song is one of those songs that sucks, but you eventually are like, okay, that's fucking sick,
It's better than any wrestling song that's made in earnest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least his is for the gimmick. It's not Family Man by Ricky Steamboat, like it's getting the gimmick over, and the music isn't bad. It sounds like Bang a Gong. Worse Bang a Gong, but like
it's worse than Hulkster in Heaven, I can tell you. But so this one is called Violence is Golden, which is also great.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little bit, I'm gonna have to like take some liberties and skip through parts of this because there's a lot of talking at the beginning of this. Is this Dutch Mantel right here? Because somebody in the comments said, like, this is a song that's loved by Dutch Mantel, so it must be good. But that guy he looks like George Jones. Like,
yeah, I believe that might be. I can't really tell if that's him or not.
We'll just play some of this because this you get to see like what his persona was a little bit before the song because there's like a long intro, but we won't watch the whole intro.
I understand viciousness. There's nobody understands viciousness more than me, dear. I mean, I can be a bitch. I could kill a man eventually. I mean, what do you think about a mask, Miss Linda?
I think he's hiding behind that because he's a bit of a sissy, don't you?
I think it
looks that way, doesn't it?
He does, doesn't he? Look at those pale blue eyes. Look at those long eyelashes and that golden moustache. I bet you're really cute underneath. You're rather cute yourself there. So, what about this tournament? When that battle royal appears very soon.
So that's him. He's very fast talking. He's very sure of himself. He's very into making people uncomfortable. And then you got to hear this song. And over this song, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see is like footage of him wrestling. So you get to see what he looks like when he moves around in the ring. But let me make sure I get to that so I don't waste much time. Okay, here we go.
You live in life and joke, watching someone choke. Cause when I grab a throat, there's no antidote. Cause violence is golden. Serve it rough, like it's rough. Violence is what I like to see. So tough.
So there, you can see, I hate that it's only through one ear, and I'm sorry for those of you out there who are listening on the headphones. But you could see in that video how like vicious he was in the ring. Like he was just like a bat out of hell, just with stupid pigtails on the top of his head. The first verse is riots in the streets are like a Sunday treat. Don't want the problem solved. I want to be involved. You live and laugh and joke, watching someone choke. Because when I grab a throat, there's no antidote.
Look,
violence is golden to me.
Again, I will say, pretty good song. Like, as far as wrestling, where if we're grading on the curve, like we talked about last week with wrestling funny, there's wrestling music. And this is on the higher end. Like, that there's a cool little guitar part in there, and he can't sing, I don't think, but like he's on rhythm, like he's on the beat.
It's up there with Bad Street USA, I'd say.
Right. It's in the upper echelon of songs by wrestlers, and you can tell, like, from that clip you get everything that you need. Like, he has Linda there to like incite on his behalf, and then he's there working the gimmick, making the other baby faces like uncomfortable, but there is a sinisterness like to his, like, even to his voice, where it's like, this guy will fight you, and he's good at fighting. It's not like it's all working together, and that's like a classic wrestling archetype. Like
the last verse of this song is hidden heads with chairs. I do it everywhere. When noses start to break, I love the sound they make. When I'm having lunch, I look for mouths to punch. I find a midday fight gives me an appetite.
Yeah.
Violence is golden to me.
It's almost like, in the 70s, it was like everybody was into Satan if you were in the music business, right? Because it's like, you're not really into Satan, but it's something that's going to get a reaction out of people, and it's going to raise your profile, and it's going to like, or even in the music business, like the New York Dolls were dressing sort of like Adrian Street or Poison or any of those bands where they did like the glam and like androgynous thing, because it got people's attention. And in wrestling, that translates to, you're trying to get people to boo you and pay to see you get beat up. And then it turns out that his character is like a vicious heel on top of it, which I really like. Like, once he gets in the ring, he can back up. Like, he flips this switch or whatever, and it's like, oh, it was a ruse to trick the dim-witted baby faces, and then he'll overwhelm you, like,
and it's that 100%, and it's just scary. It's like, when the freak can fight, it's a scary idea for everybody. And like, he made this album. Both of these songs are on this album, Shake, Wrestle, and Roll, which is funny,
dude. And in Memphis and like Southern wrestling, they did this shit all the time. Like, Jerry Lawler has singles, Bill Dundee has songs, because it was like an entire marketing thing,
and like, even there's a South African professional golfer named Gary Player, one of the best golfers ever. He put out like an album of him like covering Sinatra songs and shit. I don't know who buys those things. It's not nearly as cool as this, because these songs are like originals. I don't know if I should have looked it up to see if Exotic Adrian actually wrote his own like songs. I'm guessing he did, because it's not like, this isn't Pet Sounds, but
right. Or if Jimmy Hart helped him.
Yeah, I mean, it's got, I wonder, I might yeah, his song. Okay, so the track list for Shake, Wrestle, and Roll, which that we might be talking about your birthday present.
Right.
Breaking Bones, A Sweet Transvestite with a Broken Nose is the second song.
Yeah,
I forgot that was like one of his singles for this album too. I think Imagine What I Could Do With You. I think those two were the singles. I'm in Love with Me was the fourth song. The Crippler with a K. Mighty Big Girl, number 6. I want to hear that one. Something Very Strange About a Cowboy. Sadist in Sequins is number 8.
Hell yeah.
Shake, Wrestle, and Roll, number 9. Violence is Golden, number 10. Street Rap, which I probably don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Number 11. And Merchant of Menace, number 12.
Dude, and there's a good, like, if it's him, hats off to him. If it was somebody else, somebody's naming a lot of these songs really cool names. Merchant of Menace is great.
Something Very Strange About a Cowboy is fucking awesome.
Well, and I wonder, there's like I wonder if there's some Rocky Horror Picture Show in this thing too, with like the way that Tim Curry dressed in that, you know, and like just in general, just sort of what freaks out the squares. We're gonna do
100%.
stuff that freaks out the squares. Did he? If you looked at his bio, I don't know if you were ever able to, how far you made it. Did he ever turn babyface as Exotic Adrian
They
Street?
did a thing where, hold on, overall credits composed and written by Exotic Adrian Street and Don Woods. Don Woods, fuck yeah, dude! I want to meet this Don Woods character. Oh my god. So Street wrote the lyrics and the screenplay / book adaptation tied to the album's theme. Oh man, this is a concept album.
What a guy! What a mastermind!
So the lyrics were wrote by Street, and this Woods guy did production, orchestration, musical arrangement, contributing to the song's composition. So Street had these ideas and wrote the lyrics, and this guy wrote music around them. It seems.
It's like Elton John and Benny. Who's his composer?
Fuck! I always forget that guy's name. Like I'll remember it for like 6 months, and then I'll forget it again.
Benny something, but it's he writes the words.
Bernie Taupin.
Or Bernie Taupin, that's
for the record, didn't hit enter. It came to me.
Bernie Taupin writes the words, and then Elton John writes the music to the words.
Yeah.
That's
so. You asked if he ever went babyface. I never saw like a full face turn. He was always like super heel, except for there's one thing that was mentioned that like the crowd was shocked when he ran out to save Bob Armstrong when he was being attacked by Robert Fuller, Jimmy Golden, and Tom Pritchard. But that's the only line about it. Like, oh, he turned face. Yeah, it was a full face turn.
Okay.
He came to North America in 1981, appeared in various areas in North America, and then he joined CCW, Continental Championship Wrestling in Tennessee and Dothan, Alabama, in 1985, and then he worked as a heel against Austin Idol, Wendell Cooley, and Norval Austin before turning face in 1986.
Okay, very cool. That's and like, I bet he was also an incredible babyface. Like,
I bet he was, dude. I'm a big fan of this guy.
With all that charisma, there is. I know I haven't watched it, but whenever he passed away, unfortunately, R.I.P. Adrian Street.
Yeah.
WWE put out a documentary about him that's on their I guess it's on Peacock now.
I wonder if it's the same one. There's one that was made called The Life and Times of Adrian Street, but I don't see a WWE tie-in, so maybe there's multiple ones.
Yeah, there might be one that's like independent, but I know that they made something, because I don't think that he ever wrestled for WWE, but at that point they were like sort of doing a global, like, we are wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, wrestling, the wrestling history falls to us to chronicle, unless it's a guy we don't like, and then
in which case he's gone.
In which case he's dead.
His family.
Yeah. In which case he's dead to us. Yeah. I didn't know any of that stuff. I've heard Jim Cornette talk about Adrian Street and tell Adrian Street stories. I didn't know that he was the innovator, or it seems like maybe he took the Gorgeous George sort of template, because Gorgeous George was kind of a like fancy heel, and then he sort of turned it up to 11 in this this direction.
You got to give Gorgeous George some credit, and I'm sure there were other guys that played with this. I don't think he probably wasn't the first guy to do much of this. He might have been the first glam guy, which is why I like kind of attribute a lot of like Goldust to him, because you can really see the through line with Goldust on that one. But yeah, a lot of Gorgeous George. I'm sure this is a very common way to make people hate you back in the day. But he seemed to be really good at it, and he seemed to be really a really interesting thinker. Like he seemed to be funny and clever and stuff. So like, he also at one point went by the Nature Boy. I think they all went by Nature Boy at some point.
Everybody's the Nature Boy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called Adrian Street. Imagine What I Could Do to You. It's 20 minutes long. It's from the WWE, so it's like not necessarily. It's actually by him. British legend Adrian Street reflects on his life and career in WWE, or life and career in and outside of the ring. So I'm gonna watch that at some point.
Yeah, I bet that's great. And the documentary that was made about him, The Life and Times of Adrian Street, was apparently made by visual artist Jeremy Deller.
Okay.
And it seems like he's like a legitimate like artist. So I'm interested to see what they did with him. I'm sure he was he made it to the America, but it does seem like he was more of a European icon in wrestling. But yeah, that's exotic Adrian Street.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. We stand a legend.
Hell yeah, dude. I really do think I would have been a fan of that guy.
A huge fan, yeah. All right, we've got news and notes that we're gonna cover now. A couple of things. First, I wanted to cover a story that I found, because anytime these things come up, we like to talk about them. Recently, of course, WWE had their event in Paris. I don't know if you heard about it, the Clash in Paris, where a person wrote their experience that they had. And we've talked about, and we'll talk about in a little bit, the WWE is not a fan-centric experience anymore.
No.
It's not for regular people. Like, the product is supposed to be for regular people, but they've eked out in every corner how regular people could partake in their service.
This is what TKO does, and it sucks. And they will want to buy more things because that's what companies do in the United States.
Yeah.
They did it to the UFC. The UFC is probably the worst it's ever been in terms of entertainment value, and that's what makes me worried for WWE.
Yeah. Well, and
did you hear what the guy said the other day about
Mark Shapiro, that they weren't charging as much money as they could, essentially, right? He's like, they're a family. They're doing family pricing.
They baby-faced Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
they literally said Vince McMahon wasn't greedy enough.
Yeah, they're like, there's more blood to be taken from this stone, and they wouldn't do it because they're too cowardly to charge even more money.
Vince McMahon cared too much about other people.
Yeah, not a sentence that I've ever thought that I would hear. All they want is as much money as it, but isn't, like, at some point the train stops rolling, right? It has to.
I think a lot of companies are realizing that it doesn't. I think there's so many people in this country that have money and are willing to spend it in stupid ways that they'll just replace their audience with a richer audience, and they can do that. It's like there's a reason that like companies slowly started to realize that they could sell us plastic products that'll break in a few years, that we will have to rebuy the product, and not metal products, because they did it once and we didn't stop buying their products, you know? And that's just how it works. It's like people aren't going to stop going to the wrestling events. They're just going to take out more debt to do it. And like, I think it's immoral, but that's just business. It's the same thing with rent. Like, we could get into a serious conversation about it, because it's like,
right.
They know that, like, there's a place in Porterville, the place where I used to live, that it's the one nice apartment complex in the entire town of Porterville, basically. And they charge a crazy amount to live in Porterville, but they're the only show in town, and they are always at capacity.
Right. Because you gotta live. Because you gotta live somewhere.
It fucking sucks, man.
Yeah. Okay, so this person bought 2 tickets to Clash in Paris. They say they spent $2,700 for 2 tickets. So that's $1,350 each. I don't know if this is American money or not. I'm pretending it's American money since this is how they're writing it. They did this 2 days before the event. Something clicked, and they were like, you know what? I gotta hit Clash in Paris.
I gotta go see the Clash. What was what was the main event?
4-way WWE title match: Rollins versus Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight.
All right.
And so this guy says the value of the ticket when they got it was around $323. The face value of just the ticket that he purchased. So
this is a stupid person.
This means that the gold package, which is what he purchased, was around $1,000 a piece, $1,027. This person figures to get.
Oh, so he's saying that he bought a package for over $1,300 a piece.
Yeah.
But the ticket within the package, its actual face value is $300. So like,
right.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
The $1,000 is for the amenities. What amenities, you ask? Pre-show hospitality with WWE superstar appearances, all-inclusive food and drinks, like we talked about the last time we looked at one of these, and Andrew so rightly pointed out. They say WWE superstars because it's whoever's available. If they knew who it was and it was somebody cool, they'd put it on there.
They would advertise the daylights out of it. If they just say WWE superstars, it's gonna be bad. Like if they tell you SmackDown's coming to town, and they don't mention anybody, there's gonna be nobody cool on that card. You know,
right? Yeah. All-inclusive food and drinks available during the hospitality. You get a commemorative WWE Clash in Paris merchandise item and a priority pass gift. That is the thing. Commemorative WWE Clash in Paris priority pass gift. Again, if it was a cool gift, they would tell you.
What it is, and that's what it is. It's one of those like hand fans that has the card on it.
Yeah,
or something stupid that nobody wants.
It's a Zen garden that you can make the sand make a big WWE logo.
Yeah, you get a frisbee that you can also use as a dog bowl.
Yeah, souvenir to be picked up at check-in and dedicated priority pass entrance. I'm maybe not the person that this works on because I'm poor and I've been poor my entire life. I don't know that sounds like $1,000 worth of stuff to me. Unless I'm meeting Stone Cold or the Micker, as it were, even if the top WWE guys there, like Seth Rollins is not a dude that I think is a cool hang, and I'm not going to get to hang out with him anyway. It's just.
That's the thing about meet and greets, man. Like, you're not going to become friends with the guy. Like, right. I've been fortunate. Like, I met Ice Cube, right? I hung out with him. I stood in the same room as Ice Cube for like 10 minutes twice, right?
Yeah.
And said hi. He was a nice guy. We shook hands, took a picture, all that stuff. People were like, oh, cool, dude. It's so sick that you met Ice Cube. It's like, I touched his hand. That's like, whatever. But like, I would never. I'm trying to think if there's a person in the world that I would pay to meet, and I'm not just saying that because like I'm a bigger deal than all these guys.
Right.
It's just literally, it's nothing.
Well, and it's their job. Imagine any time that you've had to go to a party you didn't want to go to, and you've got to hang
on the same level. Yeah, 100%.
Like it's part of their job. It's like it's waitress syndrome. The waitress is, maybe she's nice to you because she's a nice person, but it is also financially responsible for her to be nice to you. She doesn't like you because she doesn't know you. Mick Foley was very nice when I met him. He listened to my little anecdote that I had come up with. He was warm. He is not a person that's going to be my friend because his job is to be nice to me that day, so I buy his 8x10s that he's going to sign. That's why he's there.
And he's the most likely to be your friend.
Right. He's the nicest one of all. So what they actually got, according to this guy, this is his breakdown. What was advertised?
Does
What-
he actually say like what the souvenirs were and shit?
Yes, what we actually
Oh,
got.
I can't. Okay, that's good. I like this.
The so-called quote unquote priority check-in was poorly managed, and we ended up entering the arena 45 minutes late.
Fuck.
Now I don't know if that's
Because
45. I don't know if the show is 45 minutes into being going or just
yeah, but
45
like
minutes
45 minutes
later.
after doors open or
Right.
something.
Because if so, then he missed Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns, and I figured if you paid $1,300, you'd want to go ahead and see Roman Reigns. The food, quotes, finger food, and drinks were indeed unlimited and honestly pretty good quality. All right.
I was gonna say, when you were listing all this stuff, you said unlimited food and drinks. I was like, okay, all right, I'm down for. I like unlimited drinks. Unlimited drinks is always fun.
I'm imagining it's a lot of maybe charcuterie type situation. It's a lot of like little
I
like
love
meats and
charcuterie.
cheeses. Yeah, meats and cheeses and stuff. Well, who am I to turn down meats and
spend
cheeses?
$1,000 on a charcuterie, but I
Yeah.
like charcuterie.
This guy loves parentheses. The parentheses priority pass was just a lanyard and badge with the event logo. So you get that. You get to take that home. Hey, where was I? I was at the Clash.
He says, "Just what the fuck did you think it was gonna be? Do you think you get to just hold a pair of Liv Morgan shorts all day? Like that's what the priority pass is gonna be?
He gets
it's
to go.
gonna be a lanyard, bro. Like what, that one."
He thought maybe they'd let him in the ring, run the ropes, you know, take a curb stomp, you know. Me and my buddy have actually worked out a tight 10-minute match while you're promoting Riyadh season or whatever the hell. Let us get in the ring, roll around.
Sick of Riyadh season, bro.
So, and then the quote unquote souvenir was simply a Clash in Paris pin. And it's a pin like you like for your shirt. PIN.
That's worse. That's worse than the frisbee. But of course, it's just
that's worse than if it were a pin. That's worse than if it were a pin. PEN. Because at least that you could use for stuff. Yeah.
What are we scene kids from 2002? Like, what do we need pins for?
I'm gonna put it on a backpack. Next to my Take It Back Sunday button that I got,
right under my Death Cab for Cutie button.
Yeah, all my local band buttons, because buttons are easy merch to make that you can just hand out.
After this, we got to talk about what would be an acceptable souvenir.
Okay, pre-show hospitality. This is him speaking. This part left me a little disappointed. The hospitality lasted. The hospitality lasted 2 hours. But only for about one of these hours did superstars come into the lounge. They stood in front of a photo wall and everyone lined up just to take a quick picture. Interaction time about 5 seconds before and after each photo. The superstars present were the Wyatt Six, Rusev, and B-Fab.
This freaking guy thought that he was gonna have dinner with the Undertaker. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
These guys just they don't. What did you think this was gonna be?
Well, it's this is
and
possibly
I'm not defending because
right.
It's overpriced and stupid. But how do you not know that it's overpriced and stupid?
Yeah. The problem is we're not tooting our own horns here, but like I for free once got to go to a Dwight Yoakam concert where there was a meet and greet as part of the ticket. I did not pay for this ticket. Someone gave me a ticket that they had. And I was like, sick. And I went and saw Dwight Yoakam. Sick show. Dwight Yoakam rules. As a band. Apparently not a great guy, the Dwight Yoakam. But anyway, the meet and greet was exactly this. It was he stood in front of a background and we all lined up and you stood there and he gave a thumbs up or whatever, and you stood there awkwardly, and then they emailed you a picture of you and Dwight Yoakam. Because again, he has to do a million of these. Dwight Yoakam is not going to take the time to hear about how his cover of I Want You to Want Me changed your life and you used it as your wedding song or whatever. Like, That's not what he's there to do.
Weird Al's doing meet and greets right now. He's not teaching kids how to play the accordion. Like,
right.
You walk up, you shake his hand, you take a picture, and you fuck off and get out of his life. He's never going to see you again. He doesn't want to.
While they're carrying you away while you're screaming, Amish Paradise is one of the greatest songs of all time. And then they throw you into the street.
Albuquerque changed my life.
Yeah, they throw you into a pit with all the other nerds. Like, that's what it is every time. It's never not going to be this thing. And it sucks for this guy. I'm not enjoying that this happened to this guy. It is very funny that they sent 3 of the people that you'd want to meet least. Like, I'd want to meet Rusev. Rusev's probably a cool 5-second interaction. I do not care about the Wyatt Six in any capacity. BFAB, I barely know that she's a wrestler.
I didn't even know it was a chick.
Yes.
For the record.
So, in the end, paying over $1,000 for some food and 3 quick photos felt pretty steep, especially considering the seats included weren't even the best ones. And then he marks on a map his section. But yeah, they're not giving you front row because that's for celebrities and the very rich. And they're going to give you like a B experience.
Where were the seats? How far up?
I don't have the picture of the seats. I think he's on the floor, but he's not he's not particularly close to the ring.
It's like 20 rows, 15 rows, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's floor seats, but it's not spectacular,
Dude, honestly, it sucks, man. I understand. Like, I understand why you would be sad about this. I understand, but dude, like, if they aren't specific about what they're giving you, it's going to stink. And like, they're selling an experience. They're selling you being able to tell everybody that you got VIP. That's a big thing that they're selling. Like, the souvenir being a pin is a bit of a slap in the face. It was obviously gonna be garbage. Like, it was obviously gonna be not a good souvenir. But being a pin is awful. Like, nobody uses pins. Pins are the worst thing in the world. So
yeah. So acceptable gift, I would take over the pin. I'm taking exclusive T-shirt. Let's say they don't sell this T-shirt.
I'd take that over the pin.
Yeah, it's not great still for $1,000. No. I'm not thrilled about it, but if you get like a first run, only the VIPs get this particular shirt. You can't buy it in the merch stand. Fine, that's more than nothing. Chair is pretty much the
that was my thing is chair. I think chair, like I got a WrestleMania chair from when we went to WrestleMania. Even the championship belts are like $400, so they can't give you that.
Right, they're not going to give you a belt because they're going to make you pay for the belt. I like if
signed picture. Like,
signed picture is better than pin. You can't do anything with the pin. That's the main problem. I'm not going to wear it on a T-shirt. I'm going to put it in a drawer, and then it's going to get lost whenever I move, and then I'm going to be really mad.
If they just print like, how many of these do they sell? However many, and they just they print those pictures and they have John Cena or Roman Reigns sign them, or CM Punk. It doesn't cost much more, if more at all, than the pin.
Yeah, it's like at least you have something. If you really wanted to, you could put it in a frame. You could have it out. Like it's something that's better than nothing. Or like give me a photo opportunity that's like in the ring or something, like something that proves that I was there. Again, like I don't know that for $1,000 there's a gift that's not, hey, now you're in the main event that I would be interested in, like
give me a piece of like cut up the canopy at the end of the night. Give me a piece of the canopy.
Yeah, have the main eventers sign it. Have the 4 guys that wrestled in the main event sign the ring mat and put it in like a little frame. Awesome. Like that's at least something. The pin is an insult.
That's the one that I truly don't blame the guy who bought this ticket on the pin because like
Um,
a pin is way worse than you could have even imagined this was going to be. Like I knew it was going to suck for sure.
yeah.
We talked about this. Like I thought even a pin is worse than a cup, and I don't want a cup.
Right.
Like if you had a cup with all the wrestlers on it and like all that shit, that's garbage that I don't want and I don't want to carry out of the building.
Right.
So much better than a pin.
Yeah.
Infinitely better than a pin.
Yeah, it's the Lamborghini of gifts compared to the pin.
Dude, a pin is a slap in the face. Like,
a pin.
Don't give me anything.
The pin is like it's the Jelly of the Month club. Like
Yeah.
where
We gave you a pin.
Yeah, Clark is expecting the bonus, and he gets the Jelly of the Month. That's the same as expecting even a chair. Because how high could your expectation be? Like I know that they give chairs out for depending on your seat. So I guess chair is what I'm going in with, and if it's better than a chair, great. If I'm expecting chair and I get pin, that's like being tombstoned. That's the equivalent of a choke slam through the ring.
Dude, especially when you know how much money this freaking company is making. And like they literally walk me to the merch table and go, you can have anything here that's under $100, that's $100 or less.
Yeah, make a goodie bag of a bunch of the bullshit you sell that's not costing you anything. And that's your gift. Hey, guess what? You didn't have to but if they give you that, you don't have to spend money on merch. And then they don't get your merch dollars.
I would literally rather them give me a free cheeseburger than a pin.
Yeah, because again,
like a free hot dog.
That is doing something for you.
It's sustaining me.
Yeah,
the pin is just something I got to carry, and it's just going to be a tangible reminder of the flaccid package that I bought. Like, just give me a slushie. I'll take a slushie over a pin.
Yeah. All that pin's going to remind you of is the divorce and the bitter fights that you had with your wife before going to Clash in Paris about what a waste of time and energy that money, or what a waste of money that was.
I would almost want to be like, oh, good, you gave me something to murder Ari Emanuel with. I'm going to kill him with this pin.
Yeah. Okay, so the big final thing for today is WrestleMania was announced for next year. We're talking WrestleMania 43, or not for next year. For next
27.
year, right?
No, it's 2027. 2027.
Okay, so and that's after they've already pulled the move where they were going to have it in New Orleans next year, and they took it back to Vegas, and very outwardly admitted the reason was because they can make more money in Vegas.
Yep.
Like it was announced for New Orleans, it was already happening, and then they were like, we're doing Vegas again. And everybody was like, well, why would you do that? And they're like, well, obviously for the most craven reason possible, which is we believe we can make more money. The WWE is doing WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia in 2027. It was announced earlier this month. I believe it was last week that it was actually finally announced. It's been bubbling for a while. The Royal Rumble next year in 2026 is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
It's just ominous, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be shocked because they're willing to pay the money for it, and the WWE wants that sweet money, and they don't care where it comes from.
And that's the thing. It's like they did it to I can't say never. I was gonna say hopefully they never touch baseball because they did it to golf, my favorite sport to play at least, but one of my favorite sports to watch. Saudi Arabia came in, completely split the sport, really, really, really damaged professional golf for at least the foreseeable future. They did it to, and now they did a little bit to UFC because UFC they had the Fight Island stuff. Like they've gone to that area a lot. But TKO obviously bought, not TKO because TKO is the company, but you know what I mean.
Right.
WME bought the UFC, and the cards started getting really watered down, and they started doing everything for money, and they don't promote their fighters anymore. They promote the brand, and they're squeezing every freaking bit of money out. It was like the amount of money that it costs to be a UFC fan per year is unbelievable. And now I started stealing the cards because, I'm not going to, but now they're doing it to this, and Saudi Arabia is buying into it. So apparently the site fee, the amount of money that Vegas gave them was $5 million.
5 million? Are you sure?
That's what I saw.
Okay.
That Vegas paid the WWE $5 million. It could be untrue, but that's I'm
Okay.
for sure that that's what I saw. Saudi Arabia is $250 million.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's.
I agree with you that $5 million does sound low, so I'm going to look into that. But 250, it's definitely not 250 million.
No, well, and I believe that's what I forget who it was, maybe Triple H or whatever. Whenever they asked him about it, they were just like, "Well, it's an amount of money that you literally can't say no to." Like, and they're a publicly traded company, and they have to justify the things they do to their investors. And if you told your investors, we're not taking $250 million because this government is corrupt and terrible and it's blood money, they don't care. Like, and I don't know that Triple H or any of those people have any sort of moral hangups for going to Saudi Arabia anyway, but you couldn't turn that amount of money down and keep your job, which is the big issue that everybody's running up against, which I think is what golf also ran up against, because they tried to take a moral stance, if I recall, to some degree, and then it was like, okay, well, we'll just pay all the golfers to join the Live Tour because we can do that. And then what are you going to do?
And now they've taken the golfers to such an extent that that it's actually stalled really bad. But the conclusion that they're working towards is allowing Live, the guy who runs the public investment fund, to basically buy his way onto the PGA Tour board, and have not have the most power, but also have a say in the future of professional golf, because that's really all he wants. And
Right.
It truly is sports washing. It's truly these people trying to get us to be comfortable with them and associate them with cool things. They had a lot to do with Canelo versus Crawford this weekend, TKO boxing, which Dana White is doing. I mean,
Right.
They had the Prince was in the ring after the fight. This is a foreign regime that does awful things to people, awful human rights violations, buying into American sports so they can wash their reputation amongst the world. And it's partially also because some of those guys, if you had funny money, you would try to buy into shit like that too.
Right.
But
well, and that's why the Riyadh season stuff is everywhere, because and when you watch the commercials for that, it looks like fun. But and the thing that you're tying yourself to tangentially, or not even tangential, the thing that you're tying yourself to is that regime and what they do, because you don't just go over there. It's not just WWE runs the Royal Rumble and they say, hey, we're in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia or whatever. They run commercials for the tourism of Saudi Arabia, and they it. Even if you didn't do that, the implicit understanding is we're signing off on this. Look at this. Look at this cool thing that's happening here, and look at how cool the resort looks, and look at how cool the beaches are, and all of that stuff. You're doing it if you take the money.
And if they're giving you $250 million now and potentially stuff in the future, are you ever going to be able to tell them no about anything? Are you going to be able to stop them from doing it? If you're going to be beholden to that, it's So I have confirmed the site fee was $5 million for Vegas.
Okay. Well, I know that Vegas drew the biggest. At Allegiant, they drew like the biggest gate of all time or whatever for Allegiant Stadium.
So the gate is the big thing, as well as there's like tax credits and stuff like that. So like overall, they're technically getting $9.2 million from the city, plus the gate for 2 days at Allegiant Stadium, which I'm sure they're making just gangbusters money at that place. So like, it's not like they're only making $5 million, but that's the initial site fee. But like, that's still only the site fee in Saudi Arabia is $250 million.
Right.
So
I
like,
wonder. So the thing that I didn't see to turn it back to wrestling, even though I don't know if that seems craven, but like I don't know if they're selling tickets or if this is a bot show. Like all the other Saudi shows are essentially bot shows. So people are there.
I bet that's what it is.
Like the people are there, and the people of Saudi Arabia really like pro wrestling, but they're not buying tickets.
And there's good people there, for the record.
Yeah,
like,
it is not the.
I don't like the regime. I'm sure there's great people there.
But like the atmosphere of the actual shows, like from the crowd standpoint, is usually really really good. But I bet that's why the site fee is astronomical, because one, they can pay it, and two, if you're not selling tickets, that's a huge loss. You got to recoup that money. The other interesting thing that I'm seeing from a wrestling standpoint is they want stars. Like it's always reported that for these shows, like I don't know that the people in charge of I forget what they call it, but the sports division for Saudi Arabia that goes out and makes all these deals.
The Public Investment Fund.
Yeah, that they follow the product, because I believe at one point they asked for Yokozuna to be on one of these shows, and like they want stars. Like so now there's talk of like Austin coming out of retirement. They want The Rock versus Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes to be the main event. Like they want Austin, they want The Undertaker, they want Shawn Michaels if they can get him. Like they want all these guys to come out of retirement to do this show. And I wonder how much TKO had to promise that they were going to do that, and how, again, from a purely wrestling standpoint, like how much that messes up all of your plans. Like if you got to work The Rock into your main event for WrestleMania now, and it's got to be him versus Reigns or him versus Cody, like that's messing up all this other stuff that you probably had in hand. Which, of course, world's tiniest violin for the WWE having to deal with that,
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's like does, and this is obviously speculation, this part, but it's like does the nephew of the prince get to go? I'd really like this guy to go over.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
How far does this go? And it's like, once again, that's speculation. That's an exaggeration, but what is the end of this? And
right. For $250 million, for $250 million, do you get to book the finish?
Yeah.
That's
at what point is the United States government justified in protecting its institutions? Because like they're international organizations. That's the tough thing. Like from what I understand, Major League Baseball, NFL, they have like protections built in where like a foreign government can't buy into the league.
Right.
Which I'm sure that'll hold them off for a little bit, but it's like these fucking guys, they really want to be involved in everything. So at what point can our government step in and say, no, this is bad for the world? Like we can't have this anymore.
$500 million. You might own the San Diego Chargers, because
and can the government tell the WWE that they can't accept $250 million?
Right.
It's like,
well, there's also stuff like, Sami Zayn can go now, but there was a point in time where they told Sami Zayn, or the sports authority told him not to come because it was not safe for him to be there.
Because he's been critical?
Because he's been critical, and I don't remember exactly, I believe it was because I believe he's Syrian, maybe. and
it's from like where his blood is from. Yeah, and,
right.
and it's the same thing as like you got the World Cup in Qatar. Nobody wanted it to be there,
right.
And like a bunch of people died to build this giant.
And it's going to be 1,000,000 degrees. They can't figure out how it's not going to kill people to be in that stadium.
It was awful.
Yeah,
and like so, and it's just because of like corruption and money. And it's like. It's sad and it sucks, and you know there's a funny little wrestling podcast, but that shit drives me nuts. So,
yeah, I mean,
vote no on Saudi Arabia buying into all of our fucking sports
for WrestleMania. No on WrestleMania in Saudi. Like,
and the worst thing, and I know they were made to do this. Like, I know Triple H knew what was going to happen when they did this, but he posted himself like, "We're going to make a groundbreaking like." Industry changing announcement, and people got excited, and it was this awful thing that nobody's going to be happy about.
Well, and that doesn't.
It's literally the worst thing that the announcement could have been, aside from Stone Cold died like 3 days ago, and you know.
Yeah, where we've got all our top scientists on it trying to bring Stone Cold back. Well, and it's one of those things too, where like this is not going to help anyone that works for WWE. Like, they're not going to take that $250 million and then invest it into wrestler contracts or medical for the wrestlers or retirement funds or anything. It's just money.
Straight to Aria America.
It's just money to put on the books to help the profit margin and to help investors. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't think that there can be a wrestling union because wrestling is too individualized of a pursuit. And it's really tough to get people to buy in as a collective to something like that. Same reason we talked about why the UFC, it's unless you get the very top guys, and the top guys are not incentivized to do that. This could be a thing. If the workforce were able to like come together and say, we will do that show that you've just sold to this foreign government, but we want X, things in return for that. That might be a time where they have the leverage, but I still don't think it's ever going to happen. I'm just bummed. It's like, it's all that money and it's not helping any of the performers that have to go do the
$250 million for that. The wrestlers aren't getting any more money. They're not getting health insurance, and the ticket prices are only going to go up.
Yeah.
And you're getting a pin for your VIP.
And they could be stuck on a runway trying to leave Saudi Arabia, like after one of the other shows where there was some dispute about the money. And like, that's been downplayed, but that's that was a very scary situation where like they could not let you leave if they don't want to. Like, if they're unhappy with the show, what can you do to make them pay you the money if you don't get Stone Cold over there?
Yeah.
So
it's just bad all around, man.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a good show, but
yeah, that's to quickly palate cleanse while also hating the WWE for what they do. This weekend is WrestlePalooza, the first ESPN exclusive WWE event, where you have to pay $30 to have access to WrestlePalooza after many years of paying $10, or if you had Peacock, like I did, $11 a month for wrestling pay-per-views. So
are you going to get the app?
I already have it because it's bundled. I can bundle it into my
with like Hulu and Disney.
Yeah, and I'm not paying any extra for it. I would not pay $30 for the ESPN app by itself. It doesn't have enough stuff on it that I'm interested in, that I can't get for free or just find out about anyway. So, but since it didn't cost me any extra, I do have it. I will be watching WrestlePalooza. We're doing a prediction game. Andrew and I are just quickly, I'm going to tell you the match. You tell me which guys you think are going over. And I'll do the same. All right. We've got the Usos, Jimmy and Jey Uso versus the Vision of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I'm taking the heels. I'm taking the Vision.
I agree.
I buy into the Vision.
Let's do it. Buy into the Vision Fund.
Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. I like both these people. Stephanie Vaquer is new. I assume she will win. I'm going Stephanie Vaquer.
Taking EO.
Okay, this is where we split.
Yep.
Undisputed WWF Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. This is a fool would go the other way. This is Cody Rhodes.
It's Cody Rhodes. The other guy's got a sword.
CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. This is a mixed tag. I think the faces go over here. AJ is back and she's drawing numbers, so I think it's her.
AJ pins Becky.
AJ pins Becky. Now you have a singles match for Becky's belt. That's pretty easy booking.
Yeah, because I don't think you can have Seth get pinned right now, right?
No, he's the champ. Yeah. Main event: Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. You go first on this one.
I haven't seen any of the TV leading up to it. I feel like are they going to bring Brock back to lose? I feel like Brock loses. I feel like Cena beats him.
Okay, yeah, I can see this as being Cena finally slays the monster.
He's getting his one back, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is Cena. Okay, so John Cena is now he's an older man than he was at SummerSlam. I believe it was 2015 when he ate like 30 German suplexes. How many German suplexes are we going? Is it over under 10 German suplexes?
I'm going under. I think he takes 6.
Yeah, I think he's like, hey, I'm about to do more Peacemaker. You can't like German suplex me.
You can suplex me, but we're not doing 50 of them. Like,
yeah.
I think I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear how it like if that's one of the bad ones to take, because it is like a flat landing on your back situation, but you aren't fall. You know they know how to fall, but he
takes them weird too. If you watch, Cena kind of takes him like kind of sitting up, like he's almost sitting in a car. Like he doesn't take it full flat back. He kind of takes it like in a weird way, at least to me. And it looked like in that SummerSlam match from many, many years ago, at a certain point, he was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want any more of these, which I understand.
Yeah.
So, and how many times do we adjust Brock's attitude? We got to adjust Brock's attitude quite a few times, it seems like, to beat him.
Let me set the over-under, unless you've already got one.
No, go ahead.
The over-under... I'm trying to if I'm gonna do the over under on attitude adjustments is 3.5.
Oh, that's a tough line. I'm gonna say that it's gonna take 4 adjustments of Brock's attitude to beat him.
I think I'm at 4. That's why I said it, because I didn't want to go 2.5 because I think it for sure goes over that if he wins.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes to 5.
No, I think that's too many. Then his attitude's back to original. You gotta... I'm thinking
it's over. That is true. We might need to do it. We might need to do it an odd number of times.
Right.
So it might be 3.
Yeah.
Because if you do it an even number of times, his attitude's right back where it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Surly
eyes go cross, gets kicked by a mule, they go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Surly attitude is what it is. I'll tell you that for free.
But no, I'd say it's 4.
All right. So there we go. We'll check back in next week, determine whether or not who was correct. If my booking instincts make any sense, because I got to tell you again, been real wrong lately. So we'll see what happens.
So is the only thing we went was the Io Sky one.
Yeah, if Io Sky, that's our only difference. If that ends in a draw or a disqualification, we're double disqualification. We're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening. Andrew dropped the stuff at the top. We appreciate everybody who listens. Give us some feedback if you're interested, and we'll be back again next week. Wrestling over everything.
Love you.
Bye.